let's go ahead and talk about fighter of the year. First of all, who do you guys have as fighter of the year? I know people said that Shocky Foster. He didn't make my cut, but you could put him there as a nominee. I don't know who else could put it, other than the guys I have here, to be honest. But let's go over it. We're going to talk about it, right? Fight of the year nominees. First, Canelo fans are going to get mad at this one. Anyway, look, David Benavidez had a great year, beating Caleb Plant. To me, those were the 2 and number 3 in the division, and he beat the number 3 and decisively in the second half. I thought the first half was competitive, and then he took over the second half. The engine of Benavidez is what was a difference, and he put a beat down on Plant in the last few rounds. So something they should have probably stopped it. And then he goes out there and destroys what many called the boogeyman in Andrade. He just utterly decimated him. So destroyed him. So David Benavidez is definitely a nominee for Fight of the Year. Gotta put that out there. You know what I mean? Numero dos. This is in no particular order, by the way. Inoue, Monster Inoue, starts the year, beginning his campaign at 122 pounds. Shortly after, he became undisputed at 118 last year. He comes back this year and starts off the year directly going to the guy in the division, Bolton, Stiffen, Bolton, Scooter, right? And we thought, Scooter's going to beat his ass and all this other stuff, right? Scooter didn't beat any ass. Like, okay, Inoue just outclassed him. And then he beats Tapales. Tapales early in the year, you could have nominated for upset of the year, by the way, beat MJ in a really good fight, close fight, but he got a win over MJ. And MJ's a pretty good fighter. So he goes out there and he becomes undisputed by beating Tapales in a unification. That is Inoue's year. And he became undisputed in his second weight class. And this year, we had the pleasure of watching not one, but 2 guys become two division undisputed champions in the 4-belt era. So we've been treated to some undisputed stuff this year. You know what I mean? And of course, there's Terrence Bud Crawford winning a big, much anticipated fight with Errol Spence, one of the biggest welterweight fights of the last 20 years for sure and ever. This was a hell of a performance by Crawford, dominated Spence, and in many minds, that performance alone, it was enough to solidify him as the Fight of the Year. There is precedent to name somebody Fight of the Year with one fight. Other fighters have won it. It's not the norm, but it has happened. Okay, big win for Bud Crawford, beating another pound-for-pound fighter at consensus. So there you go. Big win by Crawford. Tszyu fought 3 times this year. Tszyu, others call him Tszyu, but Tszyu, the Soul Taker, destroyed Harrison, as I mentioned earlier, knocked out Ocampo in 1 round, and then came back and utterly destroyed Mendoza, just completely outclassed him. Mendoza showed a tremendous amount of heart and some defiance. It just didn't make the cut for the nominee, but was very defiant in the fight, but nonetheless was just outgunned. Very active year for Tim. 2 really good wins for Tim, once whatever, but nonetheless, it's still there. And so I have him nominated as one of the fighters of the year. And lastly, who could forget about Devin the Dream Haney, who one of the best fights of the year beat Lomachenko. I thought the fight could have gone either way. So however you had it, some people had Haney, some people said Loma. It was a great fight. Loma's a great fighter. He defended his undisputed crown of 135 pounds. We don't see guys defend undisputed anymore. I think Canelo and Haney might be the only ones that have done it. So shout out to them. And Haney did that. And then he moved up and fought who many considered like 2 or 3 guy in the division, and Regis Prograis, a big puncher. And he not only outclassed him, he knocked him down, hurt him a couple times, and got hit the least amount of times in the history of combat boxing for a 12-round fight. So that was a hell of a performance and something to add to his repertoire for the year. Big time year for Devin Haney for sure. And he's been nominated for one of D-Style Boxing's Fighters of the Year. And here they are. Who is the fighter of the year? We guys have any honorable mentions? Shout out to Remy. Oh, hell no, D-Style Benavidez. That's right. I had to nominate. I thought he had a great year. Okay. To whoever thought Andrade was the boogeyman's on cracks in Chicano. Man. Okay. All right. So we're gonna do a process.